and I would drive from work to go train with him on the field for an hour and then drive home. And I would do that twice during the week, and then I would have either 1 or 2 sessions on the weekend with him.
Welcome back to Season 2 of Tackle Talks, a completely student-run production where we get to showcase some of the incredible talent that we have on our players and staff for the Dalhousie football team and the people who epitomize what it means to be a Tiger. Today, I'd like to welcome the one and only liability on the field, Matt Irvine, to the den. Matt, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
I'm very glad to hear that. Matt, you had a very successful season. You won both Most Improved and an AFL All-Star. We'll get to your time with the team in just a moment, but I'd like to start way back at the beginning. You actually started out as quite a competitive hockey player, is that right?
Yeah, it is. So when I was young, kind of the only sport I played super competitively was hockey. Football really didn't come into the picture for me until my grade 12 year. And I played in Toronto in the GTHL, which is one of the biggest youth hockey leagues in Canada. And I played single A for probably the first half of my GTHL career, and then played double A for the rest of it. And I played half a season of junior with a team called the North York Renegades in Toronto the summer before coming out to Dal, because I still thought at that time that hockey was going to be the sport for me and was going to be my passion. But yeah, grade 12 was when I first decided to try football, and I joined my high school football team, and I just really fell in love with it.
What was it about football that made it the right sport for you, especially after spending so much time playing hockey?
I think for me, I think there's much more of a mental game in football. Like, you never go to watch film really for hockey, and in football there's so much to study and kind of take in, and I really appreciate that part of the game. The other thing I liked a lot was the team aspect, and I kind of like that everyone on the team has very different roles, but you all have to come together and be successful in your individual roles to have success as a team. And I just really like that kind of idea of having a massive group of players come together and hopefully do something special.
I think it's so cool that you started really quite late playing football, actually, and yet came all the way here. We actually have a picture of you from the Northern Knights way back in the day. Yeah. I know you've played quite a few positions over the years. Which position were you playing at the time when you first started?
That's awesome. So when I first started, so there's a picture of me and my little sister. I first started playing as a receiver. That was my first position in high school. But I also started as a kicker in my first year in high school. And the way kicking tryouts went for my high school football team was who's played soccer, and then it was just a competition and one practice of who could kick the most field goals, and eventually I got it. So I played kicker and receiver in my first year. I didn't have that much success at receiver, honestly. Like, my high school season was obviously very short because of COVID, so we only played 4 games, but I was only really playing in one of those 4 games as a receiver. I was mostly sitting on the bench and just playing kicker. I was pretty good at kicking in high school, though, and I'm pretty sure that's what caught the attention of Dal.
So you also have a soccer background then?
Yes. Yeah, I played rep soccer when I was younger for probably like 6 to 8 years. And that was just, I kind of tried to get involved with as many sports as I could at a young age, to be honest. But the only one I really played competitively was hockey. Like, soccer was rep, but it wasn't very high level. But it definitely helped translate into my kicking game in football.
We'll definitely get to a very long and interesting career you've had here with football. But actually, talking about how many athletics you were involved in, your parents actually own a commercial gym back in Toronto. Do you think that kind of had an influence on the approach that you take to training and your interest in sports?
Yeah, 100%. I think one thing my parents taught me at a young age is, like, any athletic activity is going to benefit you in whatever sport you're trying to get better at. So I always thought, like, if my friends were playing like pickup soccer, pickup basketball, or even if there was a league like that, like, that's something that I still would want to do, just because I know it's going to positively influence my just overall athleticism for any sport. And obviously just having those facilities like available to me kind of whenever I wanted was also a huge help. Like being able to go into the gym kind of like by myself after it closes and get a workout in. And along with that, like the benefits of like training camps and stuff. Like my parents would run kind of training camps through their gym, so I'd be at those kind of all summer, and those were definitely a big help towards my athletic ability.
Absolutely. And your mom's actually a chiropractor, is that right?
Yeah, she is. So she studied at the University of Saskatchewan. Both my parents are from Saskatchewan, and yeah, she has her chiropractic license. So that was also a huge asset to me as a young athlete, as that just gave me access to chiropractic treatment like at home and whenever I needed it. Like anytime I got injured, like I had one pretty bad knee injury in grade 12 from playing. I was trying to do something big with hockey in the summer, and I was playing house league soccer with all my buddies, and I messed up my PCL on my left knee and kind of screwed over my hockey season for the rest of the summer, but ended up here now. So everything worked out. But she like helped me through that injury so much. And like my recovery time like was initially estimated at like 4 months, and I was like good and ready to go after like 2.5.
There you go.
Which was awesome. And yeah, like it was like she was at the game with me when I broke it. So treatment there right away, treatment at home, and then just kind of slowly getting better over the next couple of months.
Well, actually, we'll get to why you came to Dal in a minute, but segueing kind of from a pretty major injury, in your very first season with Dal football, our star kicker, Okyay, actually broke his leg at the time, which kind of forced you to take on kicker. You were originally here as a linebacker? Or?
I was here as a receiver in my first year. And so it was funny because at pretty much the exact same time that Okyay broke his leg, I broke one of my fingers. So like I still could have played receiver with a broken finger, but obviously rather not try to catch footballs with a broken finger. So I decided to kind of just change my role for the entirety of the remainder of the season to focusing my efforts on kicking. Since obviously Okyay broke his leg, we didn't have anyone that was going to kick for us. So I obviously had experience in high school for that 1 year that I did kick. And I was pretty confident in my kicking ability going in, confident enough. And yeah, throughout like the training at practice and kind of learning new things from the coaches here that I didn't know in high school definitely helped me.
Absolutely. And you actually obviously were actually quite good and succeeded, because you and Sam Martin, who was also first year at the time, scored the winning point.
Yeah.
11 seconds. Snaps up. Kick is good. Tigers. Dal Tigers 27.
In the 2022 championships. How was that moment, and like, you know, the build up? What was the pressure like in that moment?
Yeah, that was an awesome moment. Obviously Sam, he's one of my good friends right now, and me and him were both rookies in our first year, kind of both being thrown into two new positions. For me, kicking, like I didn't start the season kicking. I was planning to play receiver and just kind of got thrown into it. And Sam also was not planning on being a long snapper that season, but also kind of got thrown into it halfway through the year. And both of us being in our first year, kind of being at two very key points in one special teams unit, and for it to come down to us to make the last point of the game. And yeah, once that kick went up and through, it was a super special moment for both me and him. And
we have the ring right here as well.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that the coaching was a lot different and what you were able to learn from that. How otherwise, like what were some of the differences that you noticed coming from high school to a university football?
Yeah, so for kicking, for that change to kicking specifically and punting, so for me, I didn't punt in high school. I only like did place kicking and kickoff. So punting was brand new. And in high school, I never really got any direction from coaches. Like, it seemed like they didn't really know anything about kicking, so they didn't feel comfortable giving me advice on how to kick. But as soon as I got to Dal, like, the coaches knew what they were doing. They knew how to kick. They knew how to punt. And it made it just so much easier for me to learn, like having someone there kind of point me in the right direction the whole way. Because, yeah, punting especially, like, punting super, super technical and pretty difficult to learn, honestly. But Coach Rob Wilson, he was a huge help in first year in teaching me how to punt, and he turned me from someone that had no idea how to punt to pretty decent punter by the end of the year.
There you go. And obviously it worked out.
Yeah.
How would you describe, outside of just the coaching, how the culture is at Dal football?
I think the culture at Dal it's unlike any culture I've been a part of in sports yet. Like, it really just seems like all the guys on the team, all the coaches, all the staff, everyone really wants to put their all into kind of everything we do. Like, we want to be the team that works the hardest, and we never want how hard we work be the decider of a game. Like, we always want to be working harder than the other team and preparing better. I think that everyone here just has a super, like, collective sense of, like, family and belonging. Like, it really does feel like you're a part of a family when you join the Dal football team. And for someone like me, like, going so far away for university, like living in Toronto, coming to Halifax, like, I had some friends that came from, like, my high school, but the team is such a great, like, support system for you socially as well. Like, just having all these new connections kind of right off the bat in a new place definitely helps, and it definitely emphasizes that feeling of kind of family.
So you would begin your second season as a linebacker, actually, before being switched to DB about, I would say, late in the season. How kind of did being in the DB role better fit your skill set, do you think?
It was receiver to linebacker.
Oh, my bad.
But I think DB and receiver, like, you're obviously going against each other. So there are some similarities. But I think DB is just, you have more time to kind of analyze what's happening in front of you. And it's just super technical, like, physically, like, all your kind of motions that you go through on the field, like, every step kind of has to be with intent, if you know what I mean. And I think just kind of that challenge of learning the technicality of it and learning the kind of mental aspect of DB is something that I really wanted to be as good as I could at. That's why, like, I trained really hard this off season to kind of understand DB more and get more athletic as a DB and doing DB movements and stuff like that.
Actually, that perfectly goes into the next question, which I was going to ask. I think everyone agreed that you, like, really worked hard, especially in the 2023 offseason, preparing for this latest season. And I know that you were training while working full time as well in Toronto as well. What was your training schedule like there?
Yeah, so this summer, so the season before this last season, that's the season I got switched to DB halfway through, and the second half of the season where I was playing DB, obviously it was a brand new position for me, and I didn't really know what I was doing at that time. And going into that off season, I really just wanted to fix that and just be the best defensive back that I could. So I put in a lot of time and a lot of effort into my training. So I was working 5 days a week doing landscaping from 7:30 to 4:30, kind of every, like, Monday to Friday. And then I found a trainer in Toronto who was great, Coach Lamar Foyer. And he elevated my game a lot this summer. And I would drive from work to go train with him on the field for an hour and then drive home. And I would do that twice during the week, and then I would have either 1 or 2 sessions on the weekend with them. And he, like, really showed me, he showed me the technique aspect for sure, but he also really taught me how to think about being a defensive back and just being on the defensive side of the ball as a whole, honestly. And he really, really helped me elevate my game this offseason.
It sounds like you really quite like the more technical and the strategic aspects of football. How would you say, in general, your philosophy kind of is and with your training?
I think for me, the way I think about it is you're going to get what you put into something. So I think if your goal is to become a starter next season, or just anything, like get a job that you really want, I think there is a certain amount of work that you can put in to get that desired goal, and you just have to find out how much work that is. So for me, I really wanted to start next season, this past off season. I just really wanted to be a better DB and really help the team. So I decided to put in a lot of work to try to get myself to that goal, and it looks like over the offseason I ended up putting in enough work to get what I wanted.
Obviously, it worked out for you. You won a championship this season. How was that moment?
Yeah, that was amazing. Obviously, I also won in my first year, but this year was definitely different, just because I was way more like involved with the team in terms of like my on-field play. Like in first year, I was kicking, which was great, like great responsibility to have, but it's definitely different from starting on defense and kind of being out on the field every play. And I really felt like my impact was more made this year, and I really did a lot to help this team win, and that definitely made it really special. Along with that, like now that I'm in my third year, all the connections I built at Dal throughout these 3 years, like with coaches, staff, players, even just my friends at the school, like it was super special to have a moment with a much closer kind of group of friends and support and staff and everything. Yeah,
absolutely. And you ended up winning Most Improved this year, as well as an All-Star.
Field to the boundary side of the field being closed for business, and it's a matter of time.
How was that kind of being your first major award with the team?
Yeah, that was definitely an awesome feeling. It's always great to get recognized in some way, and I'm super thankful that I did. Yeah, I really think it was just kind of a testament to what I did this off season. I think it shows that like no matter what spot you're in right now, if you just really kind of put your head down and just put in the work, like you can get to that next level, and I feel like it's not as hard as a lot of people think. But yeah, definitely getting some recognition was a super nice feeling.
Well, putting in the work definitely seems like it not necessarily comes easy to you, but is something that you have no trouble doing. Obviously, you have one more year, maybe two left with the program, but beyond that, what's next for Matt?
I think for me, like, I think you have to dream kind of as big as you can. So obviously for me, the end goal would to be making it to the NFL and playing in the NFL. But for that, I'd most likely have to play football in the States at some point in the next couple of years. But since you don't lose your 2 years of eligibility here at Dal for the first years you played, technically I've only used up 1 year of eligibility now that I'm in my third year. So there definitely is opportunity for that, but that would be something that I would have to work really hard towards to elevate my game to that level and take that next step. I definitely would also consider going to play football at like a U Sport level, and then potentially going from U Sport to the States or straight to the CFL. But I definitely want to keep athletics in my horizon for the future, and obviously next year I'll still be here playing at Dal, but the years after that I definitely want to either continue my education while playing football or work while playing football, but definitely want to keep football. in my future.
Absolutely. Well, that's awesome. And I know that I can't wait to see what you're going to do in the next couple years and what you're going to bring to the field. Thank you so much for coming in today. That's the end of my questions, but we really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to the future.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. We'll see you guys in the next episode.